Welcome in everyone, I hope you're doing well. A delayed episode, but it is the final episode of Fly the Nest Season 5. Episode 3, it's our last trip to the Posh. Peterborough United. It's going to be the last time we get to see some of these players. We're going to find out how well they've done, what they've achieved in their careers. We are looking at, as you know, Ricky-Jade Jones, Harrison Burrows, Ronnie Edwards and Flynn Clarke. Have these guys progressed enough to have got the big moves to the top level? Has their career petered out? And how long? What's the longevity of it? How far have they gone into their careers? What year are we seeing the retirements hit? Keep them peeled. You'll find out soon. So first up, we'll have a look at Ronnie Edwards. Still playing. The year was 2037. On a contract with Barnsley, although he has been dropped into their under-23s and he is transfer listed and has been for a season. So we're not going to see much from Ronnie Edwards, I'm guessing, going forward. Had a decent start to his career with them, although they did get relegated to League One. Still continued to be a regular player for them in the Championships though, until last season. 3 games, and then this year, no games whatsoever, and completely dropped out of it. It's been a relatively consistent career for Ronnie, but it's never hit the heights that originally were expected. But he does have a year or two left in him potentially, so we will catch up and find out where he ends up. Ricky-Jade Jones, you can see he has retired, retiring at the end of the last season. Now looking for a role as a manager. Not going to lie, Rick, you haven't got the stats to do it, my friend. But let's have a little look how he ended that career. Ipswich picked him up from Portsmouth. He done all right. It looks as though he spent a majority of his career playing as a winger instead of as a striker. Best goal scoring seasons are definitely those two in League One with Portsmouth. He did get that move then on a free transfer back into the Championship with Ipswich. But again, being played as a winger, didn't really perform. Dropped back down to League One with Burton. And then 3 seasons at Yeovil, playing in League Two and the Vanarama National, where he made no appearances for the first team. A desperate fall from grace when you bear in mind he was one of the first to leave Peterborough for a fairly big money move to Watford. It's just not worked out for him really, which is a shame because there was a lot of hope around him. Then we have Flynn Clarke, again retired at the end of the last season, now looking for a gig as a head of youth development. Working with youngsters is fantastic. His stats there on that side aren't so great, but he's definitely got more about him and more likely to find a gig. 19 out of 20 there. History-wise, well, he had that move to Wycombe, which worked out really well for him. They never got promoted, but he had some very good seasons there. Went to Exeter for 200 grand. And again, carried on to do quite well for Exeter. But then he had a move to Scotland. And I'll be honest, not the best of leagues, but at a latter age or a latter stage of his career, after never really performing that well at a high level, League One and League Two seem to be his level. He goes into the Scottish Premiership with St Mirren, has a brilliant couple of seasons. They get relegated to the Championship. He has another really good season, back into the Prem, but you can tell by this point in time the legs are starting to go. Nowhere near the same impact. A regular performer, but nowhere near the same impact. Down in the Championship, and it's just really not worked for him at all there. Sitting on the bench most of those performances, coming off the bench, only starting 4 league games. So Flynn Clarke ending there. We already know Harrison Burrows retired a long way off. We'll now run it through to the time that Ronnie Edwards retires, and we'll have a comparison of who picked up the most trophies in that and who we feel had the best career overall. Keep watching, guys, and I'll see you on the flip side. And here we have it, guys. A year later, it's 2038. Ronnie Edwards has also retired now as well. So all 4 players have retired from football. Ronnie, not quite as ambitious as the last 2, Ricky and Flynn, only wants to be an assistant manager. But you never know, he may push that forward. I'm not going to lie though, the stats for assistant manager aren't great either. But he did finish his career. Unfortunately, again, another one where it started so well and some big moves in there. But the last 2 seasons at Barnsley, they wanted to get rid. They couldn't get out of a contract. No one wanted to take on Ronnie Edwards. And he ended up not playing a single game in either season for Barnsley. And when his contract came to an end, he retired. Stick with it. We are going to review who had the best career out of these guys, taking into account trophies, transfer fees, and their general performances. Catch you on the flip side. Okay, so we have seen that all of these guys have now retired from football. But who had the best career? Ricky-Jade Jones, Harrison Burrows, Flynn Clarke, or Ronnie Edwards? Now, it's a tricky one because when you come to look at like who won what, none of them really won anything. There was a League 2 championship win for Flynn Clarke. There was a League 1 title for Harrison Burrows. There was a League 1 title for Ricky-Jade Jones. And there was a League 1 title for Ronnie Edwards. He also got into the team of the season in League 1 as well. And won the under-19s Euros and was in the team of the tournament. But again, that's right at the start of his career when the potential was there. And he never lived up to it. When you think his next major trophy was a League 1 title. That said, Ronnie Edwards did also have the highest transfer value overall, with £31.6 million spent on him, starting off with that £9.25 million move to Everton from Peterborough. He did make 26 appearances in the Premier League and over 50 in Ligue 1 for Rennes. He did end up with an average rating of only 6.87 across his career. Not great, but he also did play arguably at the highest level compared to a lot of the other boys. Ricky-Jade Jones, he had that early move to Watford for 2.2 million, never made a top flight appearance, and then petered out gradually through the leagues, ending up at Yeovil in the Vanarama National League, not even making an appearance for them. He then finished with a 6.78 average rating, so lower. Harrison Burrows, we know he retired very early on. He dropped out of football in 2026. He did have that 1 league title under his belt, but performance-wise and things like that, not great. He made 100 appearances, but never really any higher than League 1. And then finally, Flynn Clarke. Again, he got the League 2 Championship medal. He spent the end of his career at St Mirren and played in the Scottish Premiership. Now, arguably on a par with the Championship, but he was still there and performing on a regular basis for St Mirren. He only had a transfer the transfer total value of £396,000, but he did have the highest average rating at 6.92. Now, based on that, Flynn Clarke had arguably the most productive career, but he played at a lot lower level throughout it. And just because of the original potential, he hit the potential, he got the big moves, he played top flight football. Ronnie Edwards has got to be the main man. It's got to be Ronnie Edwards. Best player you can get. Train him well. Pick him up from Peterborough as early as you can and train him well. And he may well reach his potential. Guys and girls, we will be back with 2 new teams on Fly the Nest in the coming weeks. Until then, peace out, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments who you would like to see featured in the future.